Hi, everyone. My name is Wendy Myers. Welcome to the Myers Detox Podcast, where I teach you everything related to heavy metal detoxification and give you all the tools and tips and tricks and insider knowledge to dramatically improve your life with the power of detox. Today, we have my friend Eileen Durfee on the show. She's going to be talking about using ozone or ozonated water to improve detox, or using it to detox, all the many benefits of ozone, how ozone reduces algae and bacteria and fungus and microbes and mildew and mold and insects and their larvae, parasites, spores, and viruses in your body, your garden, or your home in seconds. It's just ozone's an amazing tool that has many, many versatile uses. We're also going to talk about how to incorporate ozonated water into your daily routine, tips and tricks on how to use it and ingest ozonated water, and ozone devices explained. So medical grade devices versus some of the devices that Eileen Durfee has invented herself. She has a really small portable one and a large one for gardening and using around, animal husbandry and farms and things like that. And so we're going to talk about everything ozone with Eileen. And so she's a former nuclear power engineer, auditor, and inspector. And she became toxic and suffered from allergies, chemical sensitivities, and thyroid disease on her health journey. And during her quest to heal herself, to heal and detoxify and achieve natural health, she invented a lot of helpful solutions, things that she couldn't find that she needed. And Eileen, therefore, is really passionate about taking good ideas and creating better health products to support detoxification, energy production, mineralization, and natural health. She's been granted a few different patents and has some patents pending, and has written a self-help book on low back pain to fix the $100 billion a year low back pain problem. I'm sure we'll have her on the show to talk about that soon too. Eileen, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Wendy.
So tell us about your story. You've been on the show a few times, but for any first-time listeners, why don't you tell us about your story? It's very compelling, and why you have come to own this company with so many amazing detox products to help all of us detox.
Well, I was a former nuclear power plant engineer, auditor, and trainer, and I became sick. At one point, I was allergic to everything, and I found out that it was due to toxic exposure. I became a universal reactor with multiple chemical sensitivities, and doctors were not helping me. And so I started being my own guinea pig and realized that connection between the toxins, and started rebuilding my health by cleaning up my environment around me, and then also getting toxins out of my body. And that is how I've regained my health. And so it's my passion. It's like, I think, man, it's like I suffered for 30 years.
No.
It's almost criminal that more people don't know about these things or have tools to help themselves.
Yeah, necessity is a mother of invention, right?
It
That's like your
is.
motto. Yeah, because it's sad for me also when I work with clients that are been sick for 10, 20 or more years, and the doctor has never mentioned heavy metals or toxins or mold, or it's just insane to me. And it is criminal. And so that's why we do what we do, to help people, open their eyes to the fact that toxins are impacting their body in so many different ways. And so today we're going to talk about ozone, because ozone is an amazing tool that you can use for so many different things. And I love that the things that you talk about in regards to ozone and affordable ozone. But so let's lay the groundwork first. What is ozone?
Ozone is a gas, and it has 3 individual molecules of oxygen. And everything in our world and our bodies is electric. So when you've got 3, you've got this odd repair that is going to break off. It's going to oxidize things, and then it releases O2 or oxygen. So it's nature's cleaner. After a rainstorm with lightning and stuff, you'll smell that fresh smell. That's ozone. And it can be diffused into water, saturated with water, and that's used many places. And it's like a liquid sanitizer when it's diffused in water. And studies have shown that one molecule of ozone is 3,500 times more pathogenic than chlorine bleach. Yet, the way that it works, you'd think like, oh my gosh, it's going to like really hurt my cells or whatever. Healthy, normal cells have an enzyme protective coating around them. So when you expose those cells to ozonated water, it doesn't hurt them. But the cells that are infected with the bacteria or virus or are abnormal cells that we want to kind of like give our body a leg up to help recycle and get out of our body, that's where ozone comes in, and it will oxidize those. So it's a tremendous thing that we can use in our lives.
So you talked about ozonating water. What can ozonated water be used for?
You can use it for drinking, and then you can clean food to make it safe. So those are the major things that I teach people to do in their daily life. There's other uses for ozone gas, but as far as ozone water goes, it's going to purify your water. I mean, if you took a cup of coffee and ozonated it long enough, it'd turn into pure water because it'll oxidize and break down everything to where it's just pure water. And then, the foods we eat aren't always that safe. Even if you're getting organic produce, it's grown in dirt. So what lives in dirt? Larvae from parasites. And so like if you're juicing and you didn't get, because some of these larvae are microscopic, you don't even see them, and you can ingest them and then they begin their life cycle in our body. So I never consume any food unless I clean it with ozone. And so with ozonating and making our fresh fruits and vegetables safe is tremendous. And in the process of protecting us from the parasite life cycle, there's other things like how many food recalls have we seen with listeria and E. coli and salmonella that could even be life-threatening. They'll recall strawberries or lettuce, where every pathogen has a concentration level of ozone and contact time that it dies. And so like E. coli, for instance, at 0.1 part per million takes 15 seconds to kill. With some of the machines that I teach people how to use, you're going to have a concentration of at least 1 part per million and higher of ozone dissolved in the water. So, I mean, just rinsing your food is going to begin to make it safe.
Yeah, and I love using your device you created. It's called the TriOxyFresh. I take like the little hose. It has a ball at the end of it. I put it in the water that I'm rinsing my vegetables with, and kind of put my vegetables in there and kill off all the pathogens, all the larvae, the bacteria, and all the other stuff that I don't want, going into my body. And it's just a simple, easy way. I just have it right next to my kitchen sink, and I'm using it all the time for so many different things. I just love it so much.
Yeah, it's super simple because it's got a touch screen. And as Wendy said, there's a stone on the end of a silicone tube that you immerse in the water. And the stone has really tiny holes in it. There's a white stone, there's a gray stone. The white stone has the smallest holes. And it's actually just diffuses ozone gas into water faster. The smaller bubbles of ozone that you have of the gas, the more surface area it has to transform the water into ozonated water. It's like liquid sanitizer. And so it doesn't take very long, 5 minutes, for a glass of water. If you want to like have a giant tub or half your sink full of vegetables, I throw that down there and then I cover it up with the towel because it's like the iceberg effect. The broccoli floats, right? So you have that top part of it. So not all the gas dissolves into the water. So with the towel over it, then it's getting the more of the tops of the broccoli that aren't submerged in the water. And then I just gently, swish around everything for about 2 to 5 seconds after it's done ozonated, and then you've got clean, healthy, safe food.
Yeah, I love it because I juice quite a bit. And so I love to, create like a little, bowl of ozonated water and, wash my vegetables in that and then go to juice them. And so tell us, like, what is the process? You just mentioned, ozonating them, putting them in the ozonated water and then rinsing them. Is that what you just said?
Well, I kind of like agitate them. So how I do it, instead of just ozonating water without my vegetables in there or fruits, I throw everything in the bowl, throw the diffuser in there,
Oh, and
put the
then
towel
ozonate.
over it. I turn the exhaust fan on, because again, we don't want to breathe a lot of ozone gas. So I turn the exhaust fan on so I have some cross ventilation. And then I go work on something else, for about 10 minutes. Then I come back and then when I say rinse, I mean agitate. It's just
Okay,
still
got
in
it.
the ozone water and I'm putting my hands in there and I'm just making sure all the crevices and everything's flushed really good, with that ozonated water.
That's a good tip to put the towel over to trap the gas in there as much as
Because of the
possible.
iceberg effect, because you got stuff that's going to float that won't be under the water. So it's just giving it more contact time, is what it's doing.
Okay, great. And so, and you mentioned drinking ozonated water. So, what are your tips? So, how many glasses of ozonated water do you think people should do per day or per week? What do you do?
Well, what I do is while I'm getting my coffee ready for my coffee enema, I'm ozonating a glass of water because you want to drink ozone water on an empty stomach. Remember, if you ozonated coffee, it would become pure water. If you ozonate something for long enough, it'll just break it down. So don't drink ozone water with your supplements or when you're eating food. You're just going to make the good stuff less effective. And so I do that in the morning and I get busy. I try to do it, you know, during the day to have another glass. But I would say you're doing good if you can work in and consistently consume an 8 to 10 ounce glass of ozonated water a day. Uh, cancertutor.com is going to recommend people on their protocols, not as a primary protocol, but to begin drinking up to 2 liters of ozonated water a day.
Oh,
But it's a
wow.
challenge because you don't want to use that water when you're taking your supplements. So you want to drink the water a half an hour before eating and 2 hours after eating. So I choose to do it before my coffee enema, and then I do my near infrared sauna. It's like after my coffee enema that I'm drinking my hydrogen water, so I've got my little routine down so that I can consistently do that.
And so, how can the ozonated water help to speed up detox?
Actually, the EPA in contaminated groundwater areas will drill large wells and they'll inject ozonated water in the aquifers to clean it, to break down heavy metals and, you know, petrochemicals and all kinds of things. And our body is mostly water. So it's really just purifying the water that we have in our body. When we drink it on an empty stomach, it's reactive because it's still in the state of being saturated with the O3 molecule. And depending on temperature, you've got maybe 15 to 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, and that O1 is going to break off and it's going to oxidize and break down things that you would normally work hard detoxing out of your body. It will convert it into something more safe so that your body can eliminate it. So it's a great hack to speed up any detox or to get rid of your Hexheimer reactions, and detox problems. But I do recommend starting slow. I've had some people that will start out with like 4 ounces of water and ozonate it for like a minute, an ounce maybe. So, start off with that, especially if a person is sensitive to detox. Then I have other people that, they'll call me up and they'll go, wow, as long as I drink a glass of ozonated water, I don't have a headache. It's like some people could just be oxygen starved of why their, head is hurting. And so just start slow, as with any new thing. See how you're going to react and then work up from there.
Yeah, because when you're drinking this water, you're effectively killing bacteria in the body, fungus, mold, parasites, viruses, and other kind of critters that have managed to get their way into your body. You're working to kill that stuff off.
Right.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and gut infections too. So it's really, really key. And so let's talk about the different methods of making ozonated water, just so we're making some distinctions here. Because your device, I love it because it's so inexpensive. Because when I had, looked on the internet and read about the amazing benefits of ozone, I'd find devices, but they were several $1,000 medical grade of ozone devices, and not everyone needs that, but we'll get into that in a minute. But you've just created the TriOxyFresh, which is a really affordable, around $300 price point, where everyone can afford to utilize ozone, which is so beneficial. I mean, I can't believe how many uses for ozone that I use. Like, I have an ozone eye cream that I use. I just went to a biological dentist, Dr. Panapor in Beverly Hills, and he's using ozone to inject, and I have to get a tooth pulled, unfortunately, and get an implant. And he's using ozone to kill off infection, and all the amazing biological dentists are using ozone. And there's a lot of different uses for it, but ozonating water is one of the simplest ways that people can enjoy the benefits of it. So I just want to make that point. But so there's lots of different ways to make ozonated water. Can you talk a little about that? And then we'll get into bottled ozonated water and the problems with that too.
Yeah. Using the diffusion method is the most common, least expensive, easiest way to use. The machine pumps ozone gas through like a silicone tube, and then it comes out the pores of a stone, and then that helps mix the ozone gas into the water. It's just surface contact. So the smaller the bubbles you have, the quicker the transfer from the gaseous state to a liquid state. See, everything in the world is, solid, liquid, or gas. And so that's why ozonated water is so great, where we have to be careful about inhaling straight gas, because that's a really excitable state of ozone. When you get it into the liquid state, infused in the water, then it's safe, and can be used a lot of ways. Now, a more industrial application for mixing ozone gas into water is under pressure. The flow of the water basically sucks ozone gas into the water line and mixes it. That's a lot more efficient, where like 85% of the ozone a machine makes will get dissolved in the water. So that's kind of like instant on-demand systems. And like Wendy was talking about bottled ozonated water, a lot of all the bottled water we buy just for sanitation safety, they ozonate it. And they do that through towers, tall towers of water, and it generates ozone. And so then it immediately does its thing. The O1 breaks off and it goes and it kills the bacteria, the viruses, or whatever that shouldn't be in the water to make it safe. And then the O2 is in the water, but O2 doesn't last very long. I mean, it's gone in, 15, 20 minutes. So that's unfortunately why you can't just go buy ozonated water in a bottle. The magic has already happened. You want to drink that water and have the magic happen, so all the water in your body begins to become cleaner. It helps you detoxify.
Yes, yes. And so, can you use the ozonated water in coffee enemas? I mean, could you take the ozone device and put it into a coffee enema and insert it into your body that way?
You can, but I wouldn't ozonate your coffee water solution. I would do your coffee enema, and then I would do a follow-up enema with just ozonated water, because a coffee enema is great and we don't want to make it less effective. And ozone is great, but we don't want to make it less effective because it will be busy breaking down the coffee instead of so much of cleaning up your body. So there need to be done separately, but yes, it is awesome. Now, there is a distinction with my machines. There is a reason why there's medical grade ozone machines out there, and they are great. They actually have to be fed with an oxygen tank to make ozone, and they're ultra pure. You could go to your doctor and have your blood removed and have it go through a machine where they ozonate your blood and then have it come back into your body. Or you could take the straight gas, and they call that insufflation, where they pump the gas into cavities of your bodies, like in your ears, vaginally, rectally. That's where the medical ozone is mandatory. You cannot use the machines that I've created for that. I just felt that, all these machines have a life span. And when you've got the oxygen tanks, that's costing money. Just the sheer cost of the medical grade ozone machine can be cost prohibitive for a lot of people to bring ozone into their life. So using the corona discharge ozone generators that I've created, you can have safe drinking water, clean your food, use it as a vaginal douche, follow up with a coffee enema. These are all things that are totally safe, but don't require the expensive machine or, refilling oxygen tanks.
Okay, fantastic. And so let's talk about the two devices that you invented to bring people affordable ozone. So we're talking about the Trioxy Fresh, which is just a little device. Do you want to show it to us? It's just a little
Sure.
device that you can plug in and have it next to your sink. It's very lightweight, simple, inexpensive, easy to use. You just press a button and it gives you ozone. It's amazing. And so, and you can use that for, drinking the water and all the uses you just talked about, washing your vegetables. And I'm using mine on a daily basis. I love it. But you also have another larger device that, can you tell us about that? It's for people that love gardening and that want to use it in their yard and, not wanting to use pesticides. You can use ozone instead. So tell us about that.
Sure. It is actually a 5 gram per hour ozone generator machine with the handle and legs that you basically screw your hose in
Like
and
a
a
garden
hose
hose,
out.
a
Yeah, a
garden
garden
hose.
hose in and a garden hose out, or like a sprayer. And then it's got an adjustment knob with 10 revolutions of turning. So you can go from no ozone to a maximum of 5 grams per hour ozone. And the uses for this machine go from raising, all the animals, the chickens, the, cows, horses, pigs, rabbits, whatever kind of animal you're growing. There's ways to give them ozonated water so you don't have any algae in the troughs anymore. As far as how it works with gardening, I have a coil mister hose. And when you mist plants with ozonated water, wonderful things happened. I read a study where they used ozonated water when growing onions and cucumbers. And what they found out is that the ozone got rid of the powdery mildew and the mold on the plants, and it caused the plants to uptake more oxygen. So they produced 40% more than the control group of onions and cucumbers that were grown without regular misting of ozonated water. Another benefit is through what's called cell lysing. This is the insect larvae. The ozone will destroy the insect larvae. So early in the growing season, when you start misting everything down, with the ozonated water, it's going to kill those so they don't hatch. So you don't have the life cycle. So you don't have to be using pesticides, even the natural, it'll cut way down on your neem oil. I have some cannabis growers using the machine, and amazing things are happening for them. When they do a grow, the whole room has to be sterilized. And, they've been using toxic bleach. And this, they just can hose down the place, get it cleaned up. Then, in the misting of the plants, their mold counts, because all that has to be tested, and you have to have acceptable amounts, in order to be able for it to be consumed. And so it's solving so many problems. One of the growers, the canopy of his grow normally was about 4 feet lower than the ceiling of his greenhouse. At the end of the ceiling, the girls were pushing up completely at the ceiling.
Yeah.
It was, it was just like they just love it. And then I got to tell a story. A lot of people are doing their fresh eggs for their chickens, and, having them be pasture raised and everything like that. And one of a big, I guess he's got about 1,000 birds, uh, and he has all these troughs.
He must
And,
like eggs.
well, he does a
Yes.
lot of things, and he breeds chickens and things, but uh, every week they have to clean the algae out of the troughs. And just with that many birds, he usually loses about 10% of them. The food that they're feeding out might, have moldy or, been compromised before they eat it or something. Just even when you don't have disease, you're going to lose some animals. And since he started using this, because he put it like on a timer for the water to flow, then the ozone generator turns on. So all the troughs, he never has to clean them out anymore because there's never any algae. Then the chickens started drinking more water, and he lost 0 animals in a whole year.
Hmm.
It's like, and chickens will get lice, and they'll get mites, and they'll get all these things that affect their plumage and health and everything like that. They missed all the pens down. None. My chiropractor does 4-H. And so they're, have a pig pen and, all these things. Well, they just take a hose and they just spray down the pig pen every day when they're out there. Guess what happened? No flies. A pig pen without flies. And then on the horses and everything, they didn't have to put miticide on the animal eyes anymore because they're using ozone around the barn. And so there's everything from 4-Hers to larger farmers to people wanting to go organic in their garden. This little device just has a handle and it has little legs, is just amazing. Oh, and the reason why we put the adjustment knob is we also have someone using our older ozone machine, and they would dilute the ozonated water because it was making too much ozone to saturate the roots of the plants, because you don't want to kill the soil microbes.
Yes.
So they dialed it down to diluted it down to the perfect amount of ozonated water so they could water the plants as well. And so that's when we came up with, okay, you can have 0 to 5 part per million, and we'll give you a 10 revolution adjustment knob. And so now it's just like, once you determine your water concentration, you can just set it and use it. Because for the misting of the plants, you want it on high. You want, the maximum. But yeah, even earlier this year, they were killing millions of chickens in California because of the bird flu. And, bird flu not only, can be, transmitted from bird to bird, but the virus can get on human clothes or rags, and then you go to another farm, you can give them the bird flu, and it's like super expensive. So this device, you could take a water line in here and then go from the outlet to your clothes washer. So on these farms, they could be cleaning up all their rags and their clothes so they're not, bringing the disease to other locations. And so even somebody in their home, if they wanted to hook this up to their washing machine, that they could.
Yeah, and I would love that also, because I grow a handful of vegetables and I grow sprouts and I have a few little things I grow. And I like it because you can use this device to also clean the water that you're watering them with. Because
Right.
a big issue on even like organic farms, where a lot of people are buying their food when they're buying organic, they're watering the organic food with this totally toxic water. Like, that's not regulated on these farms. So
Right.
that's another source of contamination in our food supply. So I love that this ozone machine can help mitigate a lot of that before it gets into the soil and the food.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just making something really easy. I had another device, and I had external venturis and everything else, and I loved it. But this one has 2 internal venturis. So as long as from your faucet to the machine, if the hose is not longer than 10 feet, and then you have a 25-foot hose out of here, you don't need a booster pump. Now, they make these machines that are really expensive. You can spend $20,000 on one, but they've got like internal booster pumps and all this kind of stuff to get the flow up there. And so this machine is just, when you use it within those limits, you can use it all the way around, your gardening, your laundry, uh, you know, everything to do with animals. There's different places where, it's just so humid and everything. There's actually literally mold outside and different things. So you could use it for cleaning sidewalks and, things like that. It's just really multi-use device. And that's what I wanted to give. It is, more expensive than the fresh, but it's thousands less than the alternatives.
Yeah, because this is less than $2,000. What is it called again?
Trioxy Complete.
The Trioxy Complete. So that's the machine used to water your garden or make large amounts of ozonated water for household and industrial use. So that's less than $2,000. But the Trioxy Fresh, the smaller one, is super affordable. And I also use it for my broccoli sprouts. So I grow lots of sprouts. I have like a little easy green machine. I love growing like garlic sprouts and sunflower sprouts, and they're prone to fungus and they're prone to bacteria because of just it's super humid and they're constantly being watered 5 times a day. So I pour the ozonated water in there when they're getting watered, and it kills all the bacteria and gives them oxygen, and just I have better broccoli sprouts.
In that easy green, I have one of those too. Just lift the white plug and put this in there in the water bath that it, dispenses the water from. So I'll just periodically ozonate the water that's in the reservoir.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. I love it. It's so ingenious, all the different uses you can have for ozonated water.
I just want to say one thing for all the people that have dogs. Right now I don't have a German Shepherd, but I used to, and bathing was just, a nightmare. Anyway, this little thing for cleaning your pets and getting rid of all the pet odor. Oh my gosh, you're going to love this thing.
Oh, wow. That's a really good use. Yeah, I'm over petting dogs and they're just so smelly. Or when I had my 2 dogs, that would come in really handy to wash them.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, even my grandson's wading pool, I filled it up with ozonated water and I let him play. I mean, the oxygen that we get in the skin. How about the Wim Hof method where we take a sauna and we do like a cold shower? You could infuse your body with so much oxygen with your pores open to hook this up to a sprayer. That's the thing, is it's so portable. You can hook it up and you can use it, take ozone baths. Use your imagination, really.
Yeah, well, that's great. Thanks for giving us those couple other tips. And Eileen, thanks so much for coming on the show and imparting your wisdom to us once again.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you guys next week.